Welcome to the very first podcast episode of How We Heal Candid Conversations with Conservatives. We hope that you will enjoy this and come back weekly for additional podcasts as we add them. Thank you. We're talking with Agnes Haas, who is a dear Facebook friend of mine. Hawa, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, I just want to, take this time to say thank you for inviting me over on this podcast and everything else. Right? You are a you are an amazing man and a true American patriot. Like one of those ultra MAGA people. I love it.
You are kind.
Anyways, um where do I start? My name is Agnes Haas. Obviously, I go by Hava on Facebook because of censorship and things to that effect and stuff like that. I am a Christian first before anything else. I'm a wife. I'm a mom. I am a professional woman. I am a legal immigrant from Africa, Liberia, West Africa. I came here in 2007 as a political refugee and have come to just love America and everything it has to offer. Especially with the Judeo Christian principles and values. These are things that I take very, very importantly. So that's just a little bit about me.
So you went through the process of immigrating legally.
Yes, sir, I did. I did. It took years, but it happened in God's timing.
Well, we're glad you did. Tell us a little bit about how you grew up in Liberia. What was your life like there?
How much time do we have?
Not a whole lot, but
anyways, growing up in Liberia was not the best thing in my life. However, I am grateful for those, times that I had to walk those very difficult times and everything else. I grew up in I grew I was born in Liberia and in the late 80s. It didn't take very long, and then we were basically engulfed into a brutal civil war that lasted, gosh, 17 to 19 years straight, unending. So my entire life as a child was in a very brutal, nasty civil war. So I mean, growing up, it was hiding, just trying to get by. I didn't really have a time to be a child. You had to grow up fast. You had to learn to be an adult very, very fast. So those were not the best times, but I'm here today. So today is a great day. So I'm happy for that.
what was the basis for the Civil War? Was it religious? Was it tribal?
So very, I mean, different aspects were a little bit of everything. But the main, as I have learned, the main reason for that was the idea that it was tribal in nature. So just a little backdrop on Liberia, right? Anybody who knows a little bit will know that this is where the free slaves, the descendants of free slaves, may I, correct myself, were sent after, black, folks in America were free, when slavery was no more, when the Democratic Party lost their massive hold on black people. Well, some of those people thought because they were black, they honestly believed they all came from Africa. So they had went over to the American government with a petition, obviously, to find them a place where they too could call home, because yes, they were free, but they didn't really belong here. If that makes sense. They were not Americans. They couldn't vote. There were, things that they couldn't do. So they too were trying to fund that idea of freedom, as in its, or glory. So this is where Liberia came into place. So, anyways, it was founded in 1847. July 26th, became known as the Republic of Liberia. Um, the government is set up just like America because, as I call Liberia, well, we are the stepchild of America, because every form of our government is literally mimicked after America, with the just very minimal tweaks. For example, the Pledge of Allegiance is the same thing word for word, except in America I put America. When I'm back in Liberia, I put Liberia. Like nothing, it is the same thing. So we have a lot of that. So when the black free slaves left America, they settled in Liberia. They too turned around and did basically what was done to them and their families over here. They began to enslave the native people in Liberia. They couldn't work, they couldn't go to school, they could not vote. They really could not. They didn't have any freedom in their land. So, many years, going on, and the people just got fed up. They were tired. So this is where the massive civil war, began. When you couple that with a bunch of what we really call racism in America is true racism. Back in Liberia, is this group versus that group. Yes, it is the same color, but the hate was right there. So people just got fed up, and this is where the war basically started. It started when the people started rising up, and they were sick and tired. Again, they could not get education, they couldn't work, they couldn't vote, they had no freedom at all in their native land. So they elected a person who was honestly a real Liberian, President Doe. And because of that, that took a lot of the political power and a lot of the influence from what we call the American Liberian, aka the Congo people in Liberia. So obviously they came right back here, and then before you turn around, there was another massive coup, which led to them capturing the sitting president of Liberia at the time, torture him, and kill him live on TV. And that just brought a massive, unrest that lasted for, I can honestly say 20 years. So that was the backdrop of that brutal atrocity in Liberia.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Agnes. I've learned something. I learn a lot from you. You may not know that, but I do. So you came to America. How did you become a conservative?
So being a conservative, I have always been. It's just because when you look at where I was born and raised, Africa as the entire African continent as a whole is very conservative in nature, just because of what it takes to be a conservative. Now, did I know the word? No, I did not know what it meant. I never heard it. So when I came to America in 2007, along with my mom, y'all, I was 19. I couldn't read and write. I was an adult. Couldn't read and write. My reading level was at a second grade, deal right here, and my math was even worse. Mind understand. I was not educated. I was an adult who was uneducated. Period. So when I got here, my sponsors are very white, very much white. They were very young and everything else. They took my mom in as a refugee in Ghana, and they just felt so bad for her. She had no friends, she had nothing. She was basically homeless, and she was, discarded. she was not allowed to be around, the good people, quote unquote and stuff. So she went through a lot, and it took, white people to change her life. And this is where, this whole, coming to America happened. Now, mind you, by this time, I'm not even in Ghana, because I left Liberia and went to Ghana to seek refuge from the last, attack in Liberia. I mean, things happened that changed everything, like really did change everything. So I had went to Ghana with, some neighbors, which is where I basically reconnected with my mother after 12 years. And so when I got there, she, told, her friends, all of these white people that didn't care what she looked like. They just love her as a person. So anyways, one of them, agreed to sponsor her. Within that time, we went through the refugee, process, the program it takes to come here as a political refugee. So we went through that, got here. The American media has always been not so good. It just hasn't been good. So when you turn on your TV, you hear everything horrible about America and everything horrible about white Americans, to be very much honest. And if you happen to be a Republican, oh my goodness, they just dunk and dunk and dunk on you. But when I look around me, it did not make sense at all. So I'm very observant. I'm the kind of person, I sit back, I try to kind of weigh things and see, is this really what it is or not? So I began to do my own research and stuff. Went through high school here in Indiana, got out. I wasn't taught real American history. So I started to connect the dot and come to find out, yeah, I am a conservative. I'm pro God. I am pro Judea, Christian principles and values. I am pro nuclear family, as in one man and one woman together with, their kids. I am all about, allowing people to have the freedom that they need to change the course of their lives, to basically create their own path, be it good or bad, but let he or she, do that. So I mean, when you look at all, of those things, that put me right in the American conservative bucket. So here I am, breaking news, I'm conservative. So here, that's how everything started. So I mean, that's just that.
Do you, as a Black person who interacts with conservatives on a regular basis on social media, and I assume in your personal life, do you find that conservatives are racists?
I mean, but so that question is really, really good. Thank you for that. To be quite honest, though, racism sees no color, right? So let's just kind of get that straight. It sees no political party. It sees no amount of education. None of that. Racism is a hard issue. It's a sin issue. So I will be very honest and tell you, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh my goodness, the right is not, racist, and the blue is pretty much all racist. Racism is a thing that is everywhere. Now, do I experience that on a day to day within my conservative community? No, 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 no. I don't remember ever having to, go through stuff like that. So, I mean, I haven't gone through that. If I did, maybe it wasn't something that I really pay attention to, because I don't see everything as racism. You saying that right, Bob?
Mm-hmm.
Just because Paul doesn't like me, it isn't because I'm Black. It could very well be something I did that he or she just doesn't like. It could be the way I carry myself. So I tend to not look at everything in the lens of, oh my goodness, poor me, I'm Black and this is all racism. So I don't see things like that.
Well, I agree with you that racism is a matter of the heart and sin. Uh, we share that philosophy. Do you, in your day-to-day life, I know you're very outspoken about your political beliefs and your religious beliefs. Do you experience much negative feedback or expectations that, and maybe not since you weren't raised here, but do you experience any negative blowback to being a Black person who is a conservative?
Yes, I do. This is basically my day-to-day life for the most part. And again, I don't take it personal. I just laugh and move on. So I would tell you, when I first started speaking out, I've always been known to be that child that was a daredevil. And this is one reason why I kind of didn't do so well in Africa, because I've always been outspoken. Ever since as a child, I've been that child, the kid that walks into a room, sees something, and then open my big mouth and say stuff about it. So I was always in trouble. And I mean, I've just been that. So when we got here from Ghana as brand new refugees, from the Republic of Liberia via Ghana and everything else, we were put in a predominantly Black and brown community, right? Because they try to put you in a place with people kind of like you, with the hope of these people have been there for 5, 6, 7, 10, 25 years to kind of help you, guide you through the system, because by this time they should already be very much well-rounded in what it means to live in America, right?
Right.
So very early on, I realized, okay, this is going to be a problem. Now, this was not even politics. I didn't even get into politics until Obama came along. And really, I didn't get into it until there was this man called Donald Trump and stuff like that. That was when I was like, oh, I can speak and I can do stuff anyways. But when I started to talk about these issues within my community, I had so much support from the people from my community. And these were refugees from Africa, from different parts of Africa, obviously people from Liberia as well. It was, I got here first and I was like, oh my goodness, you can do so much in this nation. I mean, there is that literally the sky is your limit. So I seen people, we're talking able-bodied working men and women that just basically refuse to work. They've been on the government, assistance, aka the taxpayers' dollars, and they kept on, having kids and everything else, and they refuse to really work extra more. And I mean, just continue to live off the taxpayers, dollars. And that really got on my nerve. That was the first do not do in America to get comfortable or to be loved by the Black community. I didn't know that. Again, I'm not politically correct. So, and few people actually say, oh my goodness, you have a voice. You need to actually speak up, because what you're saying is true. Although we don't like it, but what you're saying is true. We all know if you do these things, your life will be better, but we don't care for that. So speak up. So I took that as an endorsement from my community, right, to run out and speak out. Well, when I started getting outside of my home, outside of like the inner connectors in my communities, then the pushback started, and then the hit started, and then the real racism started, and then the real pushback, the negative and everything started coming at me. It was like this massive furnace just opened on me, and I was like, whoa, what just happened? So, and it has gone on ever since then. So I said to myself, well, apparently the truth is not very appetizing, so I'm just going to keep on doing it. So I made a pledge to myself and to God. Again, I'm a Christian first, that I would speak up no matter what. If that means I don't have friends that look exactly like me, if that means I don't have people from my, native nation, if that means I don't have the people that quote unquote speak my language, I'm okay with it. So I've had that forever. I mean, forever. And I mean, people will call me and they would tell me, oh my goodness, I mean, what you say I didn't like, and I'm so sorry, but you know what, you are right, but you don't have to say it out in the public. And I'm just like, then why should I even speak? You know, what's the purpose of me speaking when I'm not allowed to speak out in the public? Because it makes you uncomfortable, because you disagree with the way I deliver. Well, I'm not here trying to sugarcoat stuff. So yes, I have definitely not met those quote unquote expectations from certain people because of what I look like. Now, remember, I'm Black. Remember, I am a female. Remember, I am uneducated. Remember, I am a immigrant. So with that being said, I'm not supposed to be different. I'm supposed to have the same color as everybody else. That means I cannot be an individual to make choices for myself. And I disagree with that. I have, and I will continue to disagree with that. So yes, I've had so many feedbacks. I've had so many, attacks and everything else, but yet I'm still here.
You mentioned earlier, you've referred here a couple of times to being uneducated, yet I know that you work 60 to 80 hours a week, and you said you're a professional woman.
Yes.
You work in the medical field?
Yes, I am. So, when I talk about I'm not educated, as in I'm not educated in the way some people think education is. I don't have a degree. I didn't go to college. I went to a vocational tech school. And I will tell you one thing, I have never been unemployed. I've been gainfully employed all these years. So I don't have a badge that that says I am a professor. So it's those kinds of deals, because when you look within America, something that gets thrown in my face every time, and I love this here because I'm able to come back with common sense deals, because I'm very much a common sense kind of girl. So there is a deal here in America within a certain community. They always tell me, well, Black women are the most educated group of women in America. Actually, it is true. I would never sit there and be like, oh no, that's not true. That statement is 1,000% correct. Black women do have a lot of education, as in, if you can call indoctrination education, then we will be speaking on the same terms. So I don't fit within those groups of Black women. I did not stay in college for about 7 to 10 years, getting different degrees, what I call a bunch of useless degree. So with that, being said, that's what I mean when I say I'm not educated, because they throw these things at at me. I mean, you don't even have a degree, you can do this, you can do that. No, I did not waste my time being indoctrinated. I did not waste my time being told how to be, how to think, and who to like and who not to like based on who they like. So those, that's definitely it. I have been in healthcare since 2008. I came here in 2007, and had to go through the whole American, high school deals. I was 19 years old when I got here. I went through that. I pushed myself. I learned to make my American language a little bit more better by pushing myself. I refuse to speak so much of my native tongue because I already know that. So I thought the best thing here for me as a person with common sense is to try to immerse myself in American culture as much as I possibly can. Obviously, the good part about it, not the bad part about it, right? So I've been able to do quite well with that. Came out, I got out of high school in May of '08. Um, I was back in school less than a week to become a nurse assistant. I did that and got out within 6 weeks. Got me my very first job as a nurse assistant, and that was the beginning of my healthcare, you know, deal legacy. And I've been in healthcare since 2008. I went on to, and did hospice care, home health. I've done pretty much everything, hospitals and everything else now. So for the last 8 years, I have been in my role that I do. I do, predominantly my entire work is based in the operating room. And this is pretty much what I do. I love what I do. It is so fun. We get to change lives and make things so much better. I did all of this here by what I'm Black in America. I did all of this here while I am a female, right? All of this here while I am a uneducated immigrant. So I mean, it's just that.
Well, you are a treasure. Our
I
president
do appreciate the kind words. I do really appreciate it.
Our president said something the other night that if we elect these MAGA Republicans, our ability to marry who we love will be taken away. And I hear that, and I hear a veiled reference to the Loving decision,
Yes.
which made interracial marriage legal.
Yeah.
And you are in an interracial marriage, and I have been in an interracial marriage and have a biracial son. Do you get any sense from conservatives that that is something they want to take away?
No. So okay, honestly, I will not call him the president because he's not. However, I will call him the former vice president because that's what he is. At this point, Joe Biden is nothing to me. Like I said, let's just go back a little bit though to the party for which he represents. The party for which he has been a member of all his life, right? Joe Biden has never been the smartest in the room. He's never been the brightest of all light bulbs in the room. I mean, like literally. So the man has been a dumb leech on the taxpayers for way too many years. There is no respect. I love him, I really do, but I do not like him. And this is the Democratic Party. This is what they do. This is the same party that did not want Black people to be free. This is the same party that got angry and went on to assassinate a president because he actually said, no, we will make Black people equal to us because we are a Judeo-Christian nation. We cannot continue to call ourselves a Christian nation, but yet we don't see all human beings to be equal. Okay, so the Republican Party fought to make Black people as equal to white people, right? What happened after that? Abraham Lincoln was murdered, okay, by a Democrat. And then the Democratic Party went on and created what? A group to do what? To intimidate Black people. Okay, the KKK was funded by who? The Democrat. And the Democratic Party was funded to do what? To push against Black people being free. So I honestly, when it comes to freedom, when it comes to liberty, when it comes to right to choose, when it comes to equality, when it comes to quote unquote equity, the Democratic Party has no room to stand on any of those things. Because when you look at who they are, when you look at what they have done for all of these years, they are the complete opposite of that. Okay, the Republican Party is the party of freedom. It's the party of racism. Excuse me. It's a party of anti-racism. It is a party of liberation. Okay, and stuff like that. So, it is the same Democrat that did not want Black people to live in white communities, right? It is the same Democrat that did not really want white people to be married to Black people. So now that they're going through that here, that tells me the Democrats have nothing. When I mean nothing, I mean absolutely nothing to offer the vast majority of Americans. So they fall back on what they think might work, which is all about emotional and, my emotions and my feelings instead of reality. Anybody that I know, again, my husband is very white. My kids are very mixed. I have never had any issue within the Republican Party, which I'm very much active in my county and stuff. I have never had any issue with any Republican that I work with or any Christian period that I work with that have problem. But I can guarantee you, I have had issues with Democrats coming after me for being married to a white person. For example, I did work in Frisco, when I first got out of school. My manager, before I even knew him, he was very much white, and Black people that I knew at the time told me not to work in Frisco because they were racist. Well, come to find out, the whole thing was a lie. Again, I'm not. I have always been the girl that will push the box. If you tell me don't touch this, I'm gonna touch it because I want to know. I've always been that kind of child. And me just going with what I thought I was like, well, what? And so what? If he's racist, who cares? Let him show me, he's racist and stuff. And that turned out to be the best decision I ever made in my life. When I worked there, I got married, I was, much younger. I was married in my early 20s and stuff. We've been together for over 12 years now and stuff. I had some Black people that I worked with as well. I had this one instant at work that left me like, really? Like, is this for real? They were all very glad that, again, I'm a Black woman, immigrant. They said, man, you have your stuff together. Obviously, the S word, which I'm not going to use that because I don't have to. And I was like, ouch, okay. Anyways, I had no idea what they were talking about. I was young, married with a family, and living my life. I wasn't, being kind of crazy and just doing whatever, it is. So I was like, well, thank you. They love it. And until this one person realized my husband was white. Let me tell you, you could drop a pen in that room and you could hear it across the hall. This woman was so surprised that a Black woman was married to a white man. Didn't care that I was happy. Did not care that my husband treated me well. Did not care that I had my stuff together anymore. And she actually looked at me and she was she was silent for a while. To me, it felt like forever because I'm like, oh, wow, that changed real fast. She goes, oh, your husband is white? I said, yes. By this time, it's not even clicking to me because I don't see things like that, right? And I said, what do you mean? She goes, you couldn't find yourself a strong Black man to get married to? Well, let me tell you, the Agnes came out of me. And this was at work. It was early in the morning. And I turned around and I said, no, I couldn't find a strong Black man to marry. But I did find me a strong white man to marry that keeps a job. And I walked off.
Well, how
But, but I've had these things. I'm just like, wow. And again, these are all Democrats. I've had all of this. I've had white people tell me, oh, why are you married to a white person? And I'm just like, what do you mean? Well, what do you care who I'm married to at this point? I really don't care. I don't.
My recording time is about to run out.
Okay.
I do want to thank you so much for your time today. I want to thank you for your friendship. I do consider you a treasure, and we may do this again in the future.
Please. Definitely.
Have a great holiday weekend.
Thank you. God bless you.
God bless you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.